Hey you guys, so I've had some questions about some different bar related exercises. So classic bar, second position, V position, parallel. I just wanted to set those up for you really fast so that you can get the most with your workouts. So I'm gonna do them facing you and on profile. But second position is an very classic bar exercise that works the top of the thighs, inner thighs, some glutes, and definitely the calves, lower legs, especially when you lift the heels up. So when you go into second position, unlike a plie squat, you just bend your knees down and you want to make sure that your feet and your knees are in one line. A lot of people will turn their toes out too much like that, and you see how my knees are kind of torqued forward. So you would bring your toes forward so that your knees and your feet track. And then from there, you want to, when you're at your lowest point, you want to really have that foundation where the ankle is below the knee. And you don't want to be working like this. Okay, so that's the leg position. When you lift the balls of the feet up, and you'd usually be doing this with something like a chair or a bar or a countertop, you would lift the heels up. But as you can see when I'm doing that, and it's it's a balancing exercise without something to hold, you can see that my foundation is a little bit, it's like my shins are now not parallel to each other, they're kind of on this angle. So I would want to step my feet in a little bit, and I cue that in the exercise, in the workouts, but you step your feet in a little bit closer together just so that you have that nice foundation with balls of the feet underneath the knees. So all the different leg variations are one heel down, the other heel down, both heels up. The leg variations can also be bending full range press, pulse, down an inch, up an inch, shimmy, and so the foot positions, leg positions. Now pelvis positions. Pelvis position should really be in neutral unless we're doing something like a hip move. So let me go in profile and show you what this looks like from the side. So if I'm in profile and I go in second position and I bend the knees out, what I don't want you to do is this. And a lot of methods and techniques out there are teaching this really tucked pelvis, which is derived from maybe some more classic dance. But what that does is when you tuck your pelvis under, if you're a little bit tight in the pelvis here and you tuck, it could torque your knees forward. And we don't want to tuck the hips and compress the front part of that lower back, the area of the lower back, for a long period of time. It's fine to flex your spine sometimes, but it's not good to hold it there for a whole, class. So you'd want to bend your knees down, and you see how nothing's changed. I'm just bending my knees and my pelvis stays neutral, and that's what you want. And then if you're a little bit tight in the pelvis area, totally fine to lean a little bit forward instead of doing something like this to bring your shoulders back over your hips. So you have to stretch and practice this to get mobility in the hips so that you can maintain a shoulders over hips position. It's not gonna happen overnight. You've gotta get stretched out. It certainly didn't happen for me. So I just don't want you to think that you've got to have this perfect alignment, shoulders over hips. Now in parallel, the exercise that we do where we hold a bar and the shoulders are over the hips and the hips are over the heels, it's totally not okay for you to lean forward. You wanna be upright, shoulders over hips over heels, because there's nothing that's here that's keeping you tightly bound. There would be no reason that you couldn't bring your shoulders over your hips over your heels. Now it's so hard for me to show this without a chair or something for balance, but you would not be doing this. We would want to have the spine, because you can see that's an arch, so I'm extending my spine here, and then I'm tucking my hips under here. That's the flex of the spine. So I want to raise heels and keep the spine neutral, close the rib cage, and then slide down that imaginary wall. Arms are here, so you can see shoulders over hips over heels, neutral spine. V position, heels will be together, toes will be apart. You press your heels, you lift your heels up, knees and feet right in line, and you slide down that imaginary wall, but the heels never come apart. So now your V position can be a little bit different from mine. It can be a little bit more, probably not more turned out than mine, but it might be a little bit closer in. And heels can be, there's a variance of 2 to 3 inches because it's a comfortable position for you. You just want to maintain a neutral spine and not a tucked spine. So you don't want to tuck your hips under here. So just keep that neutral position. But you can see that I'm not allowing my heels to come apart. So that second position, parallel position, and V position. High V, the last exercise, is it's like a cross between parallel and V position. You raise your heels all the way up on relevate. And this one's really hard to do without something for balance. And so you slide down. So you can see I'm kind of between parallel and V position. So heels are together, and it's a much more narrow diamond shape. So much more narrow V position. So keep writing me on Facebook and letting me know your questions. I love to answer them, and I will see you soon.